What's up, everybody? It's JT Magnum. Welcome to Niner News. Good news for the Niners. They are in the NFC Championship game with a 23-10 victory over the Carolina Panthers. I already knew they could beat the Carolina Panthers. It was just the inevitable, hoping that we could not have to face Seattle in Seattle. But it is what it is, and what better than to try to beat Seattle in Seattle? I was just hoping it was the Saints, not just because of the fact that I didn't want to see Seattle. It was just, to open Candlestick one more time, have a home game against the Saints, to get revenge on them, too, for cheating us again with that Drew Brees play. I'm still mad about that. Ooh, it gets me mad. Anyways, let's talk about the game. First half for the 49ers was just abysmal. Couldn't score on two possessions that they, ended up taking a 6-0 lead on. Then Carolina just seemed to take over the game. But the Niners held on defense, which was really, really good, because that gave them momentum to score that touchdown before the half. And it just seemed like from that drive where they scored the touchdown right before the half until the second half, it was all 49ers from that point on. And the stats lie at the end, because Carolina got a lot of yards at the end when San Fran was playing prevent defense, basically just trying to get out of the place. But San Fran dominated. The 49ers dominated the second half. The first half, it was a lot of me shouting at the TV. Tell them, run the ball. I was saying, run the ball. Please just run the ball. They were trying a lot of cute little pass plays, a lot of just stuff that just was unorthodox to the 49ers. Carolina was blitzing a lot. And then on top of blitzing, they were jumping the routes. So they knew Colin Kaepernick would try to get rid of the ball fast. So they were trying to jump the routes, like jumping slants or jumping patterns, so that way they could try to get interceptions. Almost got one at one point, but didn't. And the Niners ended up scoring before the half, like I said. But in the second half, the Niners made the adjustments. I was tweeting out way early. I was like, pump fake. Pump fake. They are jumping the routes. And what do we see in the second half? Colin Kaepernick with a beautiful pump fake. and Anquan Boldin went deep, and the rest is history. They got the ball jumping down to about the 2-yard line, I believe. And it was just a beautiful thing of beauty. It was almost like they heard me, like they basically saw my tweet and said, "Hey guys, we got a pump fake." Nah, it was obviously the coaches making adjustments. They knew what was needed. They saw probably what I saw on the field, and what everybody saw. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were probably saying the same thing. And run the ball. And they did that with Frank Gore in the end. They basically just kept running with Kendall Hunter and Frank Gore. And Frank Gore actually popped one for a good 37-yard gain, which was awesome. And he's always good for that one good pop to seal a game. And you know what's coming. They put an 8 or 9 man front, and then sometimes they put these huge fronts up there. But he still somehow finds a little crevice and just gets through and just is gone. He makes a nifty little move on a safety. Usually you always see it. That's what happens. But he was able to do it, and we were able to dominate that defense in the second half. Colin Kaepernick scored a touchdown, did his little Superman zip, and then kissing his tattoos, which was awesome. I didn't like it at first because I thought he was taunting Cam Newton, but he said it was a shutout. So I don't know. It is what it is. But now Seattle's coming to town, or we're going to Seattle. Seattle tried to block tickets from Californians because they don't want 49er fans there. They don't want 49er fans celebrating on their field in case they lose. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a different game than those regular season matchups that you've seen before, where Seattle's blown the 49ers out. I really think that last year's game when Seattle blew them out, I forgot the score. It was 42-13, I think it was. I really think that matchup wasn't as bad as what people think. The Niners came into that game. Going to the playoffs. They knew that they didn't have to win there, and I don't think they really wanted to try to win there. They didn't want to really show Seattle plays because I think they thought that they might see them in the playoffs, so they didn't want to show off too many plays. That's my point of view. Coaches actually do this. They don't want to showcase the whole playbook because they don't want a team to be able to game plan them when it comes time to the playoffs in case they meet again. And I really think San Fran thought they were going to meet the Seahawks again in the playoffs, which they almost did. Atlanta escaped them last year in the playoffs, and San Fran was able to go to Atlanta, and you know what happened after that. But I really think that was the case. That's why it was a blowout. That's just my opinion. This year's blowout, obviously no Michael Crabtree. Nobody left on offense really. They were down some. They were down some. Um, they were down a defender when Ian Williams went out. It was just a awkward day, and for some reason, I'm gonna say this is strange. I know it always rains in Seattle, but they always play like perfectly clear games. It seems like against really like bad teams. Like it'll be like a perfectly clear day in Seattle, no rain, no forecast, no nothing. But when they play the Saints or they play the Niners, teams that can actually pass and run the ball, somewhat, minus the Saints or whatever. Why does it always rain the hardest it's ever rained all of a sudden? And there's always like these 50-mile-an-hour winds or something like that in Seattle. Why is it when the good teams play there? How are they so lucky? Like, I just feel like it's their. Do you feel like it's their year? Tell me in the comment section if you feel like it's just Seattle's year. Like, they're just a year of luck. I mean, they're not getting called for defensive pass interferences, really. I mean, they average one a game because they're going to get called. Which brings me to another topic I'll discuss in just a second. But how do they get so lucky that they get these bad weather games against the good teams, and they already have a good defense, so they get to, basically the ball is slipping out of their hand, it gets tipped more, there's more fumbles because of the rain and stuff like that. How do they get so lucky that that's the case? I mean, to me it's just strange that they get that, but. It is what it is, man. You can call me a hater. You can call me whatever you want. I am a 49er fan, so you can call me a 40-whiner because it's the cool thing to say now. 40-whiners. But anyways, it just seems so strange that they just get that lucky to me. But anyways, let's talk about the Seattle. I found an interesting article. It talks about the Seattle Seahawks grabbing techniques, meaning their pass interference techniques that they get away with. And it's not just a 49er thing. Apparently, the whole NFL is complaining about the Seahawks and their grabbing techniques and how they get away with it. And apparently, they do it on purpose. It's an article written. I'll link the article in the description. It basically talks about how the Seahawks' idea is, well, they're not going to call us on every down because officials are reluctant to throw the flags, obviously, every down. So we might as well grab every play and to see what we can get away with. And they're taught this. They're taught how to defend like this. They're taught to grab, pull, yank, grab jerseys, pull, do what you got to do, wrap around, make it look clean, but do it fast and make it look clean, but let go. But just to keep people, like I said before, I said it earlier in videos this year, they grab to keep receivers close to them. They're already tall. They're already long-armed. Richard Sherman, Byron Maxwell, Thurman, the guy who suspended, Brandon Browner. All those guys are tall. They all have long arms. And what they do is their technique is to grab, pull, yank towards you, let go. Grab, pull, yank towards you, let go. And what that does is it keeps the receiver close to them. That way, if any ball is thrown near the vicinity of that receiver, they can just bat it down, intercept it, or do what they got to do fast enough to do that. That's why you hardly see separation from receivers from the cornerbacks from Seattle. They're constantly grabbing. They do it from the line of scrimmage all the way up the field. If somebody's running deep, heaven help they're trying to run deep because they're getting their shoulder yanked or they're getting their jersey tugged back here. And it's a technique that Seattle has perfected. I mean, perfected. And these guys are taught. And that's a testament to their coach, Pete Carroll, who knows how to get around the rules. He did that with USC, and that ruined that program. And Seattle Seahawks have a little bit of issues with their program. We all know about the drug usage and some of their players getting suspended. It's got to mean something. I mean, every player can't be like, it can't be an NFL manhunt going on where all these players are getting suspended. So it's got to be something going on there. But call it what you want. You can say I'm hating on the Seahawks or whatever, but I think they should learn to play within the rules. The 49ers are accused of grabbing every now and then, and it is true. They do grab every, now and then, but they don't do it every play, and the Niners play pretty, decent coverage without having to grab and pull and yank all the time. And I don't know. That's what I see from the Seahawks every time I watch them. And you could say, oh, you only watched them a couple times. No, I actually watched them almost every game this year. I have the NFL package. I watched them thoroughly. I watch them because I want them to lose, obviously, during the regular season, so I watch their games. and I watched them grab. And they always say, the announcers like, oh, perfect coverage, perfect coverage. No, it's pass interference. They get away with it. And Mike Pereira, the vice president of officiating, who I call the yes man, he actually said it too. He said that they understand that they're not going to call it every time, so that's why they do it. It's simple. You're not, as an official, they're not going to call it every time, especially when the Seahawks are at home. They're not going to keep calling them, so they just keep doing it. And I think the NFL needs to, crack down on it. NFL, stop it. Keep calling them, flag them for it. If it's a penalty, if it's something you're not supposed to do, then the ref should flag them every play until they stop doing it. If I was a referee, obviously not a 49er fan, and I'm just a regular referee, and I saw somebody grabbing constantly, I would tell them, hey, stop grabbing, and I'll stop calling you for it. Simple as that. Play defense the right way, and maybe you'll stop getting called for it. But they don't do that for some reason, and the Seahawks get away with it. So we'll see what happens in the NFC Championship game. Hopefully the Niners can pull it out. It'd be a great win, regardless of the score. I don't even care what the score is. If the 49ers win in Seattle, it's a great win. It's a great way to get to the Super Bowl, and hopefully that's the case. If not, just get ready for next year. Make another video talking about how I hate the Seahawks. Just kidding. And that's it. And hopefully we're not disappointed next week. So leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the upcoming game, who you think is going to win. Let me know what you think about the Seahawks defense. Let me know what you think about the 49ers defense. Let me know how you felt about the Carolina Panthers game that the Niners won. Let me know what you think about the Seattle Seahawks beating the Saints. That game was really close. Seahawks barely passed for any yards. If it wasn't for Marshawn Lynch, they wouldn't have probably pretty much done anything. And that game, they actually got away with a little bit of pass interference too. Grabbing New Orleans receivers. I saw it down the field, just grabbing them, yanking them. And how they get away, like I said, I had no clue, but they get away with it. So we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully Kaepernick can come through with a victory for the Niners. He's been playing great, so we'll see what happens. All right. For Niner News, this is JT Magnum signing out. Peace, y'all.